Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we have a Fog of War puzzle here. This one's a little bit different. As you can see, it's got this outer band that's being introduced, and I have not read the rules yet, so I'm not quite sure what that's doing, but it was different, so I thought I'd give it a try. I think this one was posted a few weeks back, so it's not necessarily new on the board. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but anyway, I hadn't seen it, so I'm going to go give it a try. Anyway, it's called Fog Hammer Time by Elytron, and here are the rules. So we've got standard Sudoku rules apply. So every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. We've got product bands. Multiplying the digits on two circles of the same color equals the sum of the digits on a line connecting them. What the heck does that mean? Oh, okay. I think I know what that might mean. Multiplying the digits on two circles of the same color equals the sum of the digits on the line connect. Okay, so we have a green line here, and it has a band. It has two circles. Apparently, somewhere else out here, there's another circle. It's here. Who knows? When you multiply those two together, every digit that's on it between those two must add up to that product. Okay. And then each product band is associated with a new color and does not split. So there can't be, what's saying is there can't be a repetition of a product, a value product between different colors. Now, clearly we only see one color, so at the moment we can't really say what that does to this, and we also know that the line cannot split. Digits on the endpoints of a product band index either their row or column or box. Okay, so we know we have one endpoint here. This is going to have to either be an index to its row, column, or box. By indexing a scene like this digit right here, this is the 5th box, it is the 4th column, and it is the 4th row. So those are our indices essentially of what this one is. So if we knew this was a circle, you would have to be one of those digits, either 4 or 5 in this particular instance. Then we got quite a few things going on here. We got little killers. So digits along the indicated diagonal add up to the number provided, may repeat if allowed by the rules. Okay, so I think that's probably why we have this out here. We've got little killer clues that are going to be somewhere out here, and they're going to be pointing in diagonals towards our region. So let's say you had a little killer here that said 7, and it was pointing this way. We would know that the digits along that that diagonal would have to add up to 7. Now, clearly that doesn't work in this instance, but that's just an example. Then we've also got Kropki Dots, so digits separated by a black dot on a 1:2 ratio. Not all black dots are necessarily given, so it looks like we don't have any white dots in this puzzle, just the black dots. So if these two digits were separated by a black dot, whatever this digit is, this would be either double or half of it. That's what the 1:2 ratio essentially means. And then we have fog, so the grid is partially covered with fog. Correctly placed digits will clear fog around that cell. No guessing is required. So I always like to say, if we were to miraculously figure out what this digit here is, or any one of these, we'd therefore clear out all the fog in this region, and then we'd hopefully have more clues that would show up that would help us continue to solve. And those are the rules. So I think this one is supposed to be fairly difficult, if I remember correctly. So we're going to give it a try and see if we can get it figured out. But those are the rules, as usual. The link will be in the description below, and you guys can all give it a try. So where do we start? Well, clearly we have to start here because it's the only thing we can see. And I think one of the last little bit of information on our product bands is telling us what this actually has to be, because it said digits on the endpoints of a product band. This is the endpoint of a product band because it is a circle. Must either index to row, column, or box. Well, this is box 1, this is row 1, and it's column 1, so this just has to be a 1. Okay, we do not get any clues on that. Now, what a 1 does there actually is it states that wherever the end point of this guy is, let's say it's here, its digit is going to have to multiply by that 1, so therefore it's its own value, and then everything in between it therefore must add up to it. Now, what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that we can't end this line inside of this region, because if we did, let's say this was the other bulb side, we would know that it would be 1 times whatever this digit is, and then this digit would have to add up to that digit. It would be the same value, so it would break the puzzle. So this has to get out somehow. We also know that it can't be any higher or any lengthier than a 3-cell line, whereas the bulb has 3 line cells between it and this bulb, because we cannot ever have 4 segments of a line and then another bulb, because we'd be above 10, and since we have a 1 here, we can't ever get up to 10. So it may be useful to do that, because we know that this does continue this way. The problem is we don't know what it does after that. It could turn down, it could turn over, it could go upwards, it could go downwards. There's lots of things that could happen from this point. So, what the heck do we have left? I was hoping we would have gotten a little killer clue somewhere up in here, because that might have helped us here, but it doesn't seem to do so. We also don't have any Kropkis that are showing up. So there's got to be some way we can determine what this thing does and what the digits on it need to be. Now, if it was a 2-cell line and then it just ended in any of these places, which are all possibilities, there would be a ton of different variations that could occur, because there could be 1 times whatever the end value is, and then these 2 digits would just have to add up to that value. But that value could be anything from 5 or higher, because we know these are both on the line. There's not a bulb here. We already proved that. So the least that these 2 can be is 2 and 3. Which would equal 5. So if it was 1, 3, 2, and then we have a 5 somewhere in here, that would be possible. But how do we continue this? Because I can't think of how to differentiate then what happens with this line. Because as I said, it seems like it has quite a few possibilities of where it could go and what the values on it could be. Now, I guess we can say that there never could be an 8 or a 9 on here. That just leaves all of these open spaces for where 8s and 9s could go. And the fact that we can still add another bit of line on here is interesting. And I don't think we can necessarily say that if we do have well, it's actually, I guess it's possible we could have a 4 or maybe even 5-cell line, couldn't we? Because it doesn't say that digits can't repeat on these lines, does it? No, it doesn't. So these could very well be 2, 3. We could have another 1, 2 here, and we'd only be up to 8. Then we could just slide down here, put another 1 on here, because all of basic Sudoku still works, and we could get a 9 somewhere down here. So there's so much that could occur here. Each product band associated with the unique color does not split. Digits on the endpoints index either their row, column, or box. Well, I guess maybe that's what we have to start thinking about, is the indexing of the endpoint. And determining what the indexing can be in these options, that seems like it's a lot to start marking out. because the endpoint could be essentially a lot of places. But it probably can't go very far, because the values that we can put into, let's say, this grouping is at most, what, 5 from any of these? Because these would index to either 4, 2, 4, or 5 kind of thing. So is it, and then 2, 3. Yeah, there has to be something there to do this. Sorry. Comfortable. So, if our line were to end here, it would either index to, well, we know the bare minimum is 5, right? So we have to at least get into this region for where this endpoint is. Because the bare minimum we can put on here is 2 and 3. So this is the 5th column, this is the 5th row, and this is the 5th box. Now, is it possible for some of these to be the endpoint? I think the answer is no. I think what we're looking at this at the moment, I'm thinking like this is our endpoint, where my pointer is. But that's a hunch at the moment. Because if we were to come down here, this couldn't be the bulb because we can't get far enough away. So we'd have to add another digit. So now our bare minimum is getting us to 6. But the second we start adding more digits, we have to keep going further away, and we can never attain that position. Because we can look at it, this can't be, like, this couldn't be the bulb, because we'd have 2, 3, and the bare minimum of a 1, which is 6. So that breaks this. Same goes for these guys. Same's going to occur for these guys. Now, can we make any determination about some of these guys out here? Because if we do 2, 3, we jump to a 1, let's say here, if we stay on this, that's, again, we're up to 6, but we can't get down here. Yeah, I think that's right. I think this has to be our 5, and these have to be a 2, 3 pair, because mathematically we can never extend this line and attain the digit that we need to get to by adding each of the digits up between them. Because you can't get down here, you can't get over 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 here. And that's just to get to a maximum of 6. We can't ever get to here, that's only to 5. This is only 5, this is only 5. So this has to be a 5. Yeah, there's just no way it could work otherwise. Okay. And therefore these must be from 2 and 3. Okay, now we've got this line here. And these must be of the same band, because we can't, it says in the rules, each color has its own band and value to it, and they do not split. So we kind of have this situation where we know these are going to do this. We know there's something over here that occurs. I don't like how that worked. There we go. So it's going to be another situation where mathematically we're going to probably have some problems. So let's look at what these can be. We know that each circle must index its row, column, or box. So this is going to either be a 4 because of its box, a 4 because of its row, or a 3 because of its column. This guy is either going to be a 3 by its column, a 4 by its 3 by its row, 4 by its column, I don't know if I said that right, or 2 by its box. So the absolute maximum we could ever have these be are both 4s, which would be 16. bare minimum, it would be 3 times 2, which is 6. I don't think 6 is ever going to work, because we could think about what's the absolute minimum that these can become. There is no line showing in this corner like you can see in this corner, so we can't cut the corner. We have to continue out at least a bare minimum. And then we have the fastest way to get back in would be do something like this. That's the absolute bare minimum. Well, let me rephrase that. It might actually be more, maybe easier to do something like this, because we can get some repetition of digits here. But the point is still going to remain. We've either got 1, 2, and 1, 2, which is a bare minimum of 6, plus another 2, which is 8, and then you get 1, 2, 3, 4 different digits that have to add together, and the bare minimum is 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 10. So we're already over our absolute maximum of 16 in this scenario. Now, is there any way, does this work any better? I don't think it does, because we're going to have a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's already 12 plus 4. The 1, 2, 3, 4, I mean, which is another 10, so we're at 22. So that's even worse case scenario. No, I didn't mean to do that. So there has to be some way we can work this. I think this may... No, but that doesn't work. Remember, we're not cutting this corner. How the heck do we get out of this and not break this thing? These are going to be the bare minimums. There's not much else we can do about it. We can cross over and cross over, cross over and cross over, but that doesn't help us. Let's do it this way. This seems to be a better option, because I think we can reduce now what we can do in here this way. Because these could be 1, 2, these could be 1, 2. There's our 6. These could be 1, 2, these could be 1, 2. That's another 6. That's another 6. So we're up to 12. And these could be 1, 2. And add another 3 to it, so we're up to 15. So we have to at least get to 15 in the scenarios that I don't see any other way where this, you can do anything better. We have to limit these to only 2 that are seeing each other, and we cannot put, let's say, 4 into this type of thing. Now, it could, of course, do something like that, perhaps. 6 plus 6 plus 6 was 18. No, that doesn't work. So this, I think this is the only way it could possibly work. And the only way, anyway, these things can work if these are both 4s. Did not mean to do that. So these have to be 4, because we cannot get below the most we've said we can ever get down, or the least we can ever get down to is 15. So these have to be 4s. There's just no other way that's going to work. So let's get rid of these. And we do know now it does come down this way. It does come out this way. Now, we can put a 4 into here just for terminations there. So we know these have to equal 16. And we said that in the bare minimum that we could ever put in any of these would be to 15. Because we have 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. 5 3s is 15. So they're going to have to be almost all bare minimums, except for 1 digit can be a 3. Somewhere in this loop that we've created. And actually, I just looked back at the title of this thing, and do you see what I see? Well, it's called Fog Hammer Time. This looks very much like a hammer. Pretty cool. Anyway, what does that do for us? Well, we've got a couple of triples going on here. and we know that these cannot be both 1 3s. So this can never be a 2. It must take the 3. And then therefore this must be a 2. Now these can't be 3s either. So we've reduced the point where the 2 or the 3s can go to out here somewhere. There must be 1 3 somewhere. We don't know where it is. But what we have done is uncovered a black Kropki dot. Now I just wanted to make sure, a quick one. Yeah, there is no other reduction in what a black Kropki dot can be. So these can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8. Clearly they can't have a 1 on them. This can't be 2 or 3. This can't be a 4. This can't be a 3, so this can't be a 6. This can't have a 2 on it because this is a 1 2 pair. So this is either 3 or 8, which means this is not 8. This can't be a 4 because we said the 4 had to go to this is 6. And this has to therefore be 3. Okay, now we do have a little killer cage, or little killer clue come in. We can also say this can't be a 3. Okay, so we've got these 4 digits have to add up to 13. The bare minimum this guy can be off the bat is a 5. The bare minimum this guy can be is a 4. This can't be a 2. Let's get rid of that. What's the bare minimum this guy can be? It could be a 1. And what about this guy? He could also be a 1. That's 5, 4, 1, 1. That's 11. That's not too far off of our 13 digit. Now, we might be able to look at that further. I don't think these two can't both be 1s. In fact, this guy cannot. No, it's not true. He could be a 3 still if this guy was a 1. Yeah, so these both can't be 1s. If this is a 1, this would be a 3. This would have to be a 1. If this was a 1, this would have to be a 1 as well. So they're not, technically they cannot be 1 1 as minimum. So it's it's kind of a 1 2 situation. It's kind of hard to mark that, I think. But what we're looking at now is that we're up to 12, so we only have we'd only have one level of differentiation between these. So this could go as high as a 6, but it can't be a 6, right? Because we know these can't both be 1. It has to be at least 1 and 2. So we're at 3, 7, and 5 is 12. So the only way this could ever be anything other than 5 is it would be a 7, and that would break it. So this has to be a 5. We're going to get some more information here too. That's good. Now, this one could be 4 or 5. Oops, didn't mean to get rid of that one. And these could be from 1, 2, or 3. This one can't be a 2. Because again, one of these it's either a 1 2 or a 1 3 are the options for these two guys. I think that's correct there. Yeah, there's probably a better way to mark this, but that's what we're going with for now. Now the next thing is going to be looking at this guy, I guess, because we just got a new killer clue. But it seems like there's way too much that we could do with this 25. But maybe that's the point. What's the bare minimums again? These could be a 6, 7 pair. Well, no, sorry. This could be 7. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 already taken care of. This can't be a 6. This could be a 6. This is a 2. There's just nothing we can do about this. This could be a 6. at minimum, and this could be a 3 at minimum. What is that equal to? We got 12, 19, 21, and 24. Again, we have a 1 digit that we could offset these from to be able to get to our 25. Now, this one down here, we could never have it be 1 digit away because we can't use it 4, so we'd have to go up to a 5 bare minimum. That breaks this. This has to be a 3. Now, this can't be a 3. Keep hoping for one of these 3s to come in and tell us what's what here. So we know that these could all be 1 higher than what they are. We don't know which one is which. We know there's a 9 down here, just by Sudoku now. And what else do we know? Did that 3 do very much for us? Don't know that it did. I mean, it pushed a 3 down in here somewhere, but that's at the moment not of too much use. As maybe there's something further we could have determined on this 13 line. Trying to be very careful on how I determine some of this so I'm not accidentally making any kind of mistakes. So again, on our 13, we know we have a 5 here. So now all we can, get up to is an 8. So if this was a 5, this would have to be 1 and 2. That would force this to be a 3, which would then put everything into minimum stage. So let's think about that further. If this is a 5, it forces this to be a 1. This would have to be a 2. This would have to be a 3. This has to be a 1. These have to be a 1-2 pair. This has to be a 1-2 pair. Well, this can't be 2. I feel like I'm right there and I'm just not quite fleshing out this as well as it could be, because the other situation, if this is a 4, we're at 9, so we need 4 more. So we need a 1-3 pair. But having a 1-3 pair doesn't necessarily do much because it could be 1 here or 3 here. If this was a 3 here, then we'd be down to a 1 here, so we still have somewhere on here that a 3 could possibly go to. Now we do know there has to be a 3. Does that come into any play? I don't know that it does. The other thing I was sort of looking at was this guy here, this row, because at the end of the day, we know we have a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a 9. We have to put a 6 somewhere on here, but 6 could go in any of these 3. We have to put a 5 on here, but it could be any one of those 3. The 7s and 8s are not much use. This is from 7, 8, 9. We know there's a 1 down here. We know there's a 2 up here. We know there's a 3 down here. We know there's a 2 2 down here. We know there's a 1 down here. Okay. Six. Would there be any issue with this being an 8 is kind of the next thing I'm looking at. Because it forced then for these to be 6, both 6s, right? Which means this would be a 6. Which means one of these two would be a 6. One of these would be a 6. I don't see an issue with any of that. Okay. So whichever one of these is a 3, the other one paired with it has to be a 1. Another way to look at it, I guess, is we always know there's a 1 in each of these 3 sets. No, one of these has to be a 4. This one is being a bit tricky. Don't have any more information yet on here other than these little killer clues, so those have to be what we can do here. This digit, can it ever be a 3 in reality? Yes, it can. What am I missing here? Come on now. We know one of these is a 2. I guess we can just start putting this stuff in. One of those is a 1. One of these is a 3. It's not quite enough on some of these. Wait. No, this is from 6, 7, 8, or 9. Luckily, I didn't just sit there and look at that and try to determine something, because I would have told myself that the 6 has to go here, but that's not the case. Wait, this can't be a 7, can it? Because if this is a 7, this has to be an 8. And we've broken the puzzle then, because we're at 7, 8, 2, 3, which is already 20, and then we have only a 6 left over. Yeah, this has to be a 6. So there are no 6s here. And this is a 6. That was it. Okay, I just didn't look at the right place. All right, so now we do have some more information we can work with. These have to be from 1, 2, 4, and 8. It can't be 3, 6 anymore, and it can't be a 1, actually, so this is not a 1. So there has to be a 4 in here, so this is a 5. Now, if that's a 5, I think we've just opened this up. Because this is 10, we have to have a 1, 2 pair. This has to be the 1, this has to be the 2, this has to be the 3. This is therefore a 1, and things are moving along swimmingly. I'm going to get rid of some of these markings. Now this clearly can't be a 2. Well, this couldn't be a 2 anyway, so this is just a 4, 8 pair all across the board, which means this is 4. Okay. Ooh. This is, what are these 2 digits? 7 and 9. Let's put those in. What are these 2 digits? 5 and 8, it seems. Let's make sure I'm doing that right. 7 and 9 up there, so therefore these have to be 5 and 8, which means there's no 8 here. So that's a 7, 9 pair, which means this is 8. If that's 8, this has to be its bare minimum, which was 6. Okay. These digits have to be from 2, 7, and 9. This is not 2. Now we already have our 3, so we can't ever put another 3 on here. So these have to be the bare minimums. This is 1. This is 2. Oh, look at that guy. These are no longer 1s. This can't be a 3. We can get rid of all of our added digits. And we're gonna... That face is just funny for some reason. Yeah, these are a 1-2 pair. This is a 1-2 pair. These are a 1-2 pair. This is now taken care of. So what is this guy? He's either in the 8th row, the 8th box, or the 5th column. And he can't be an 8 because we have an 8 there. This is a 5. Now we've got a 5 on the end. We've got to have at least these 3 guys. Well, I guess we know we can't have a 1 on the other end somewhere, but that's essentially already determined. So we know that we're going to have some semblance of digits here that are going to have to add up to a digit that 5 multiplies with. Now, is it possible this thing could go all the way around up to 2 here? Highly unlikely, because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different digits. Could it ever get to a 2 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits. No. I don't think it can get to this 2 either, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. 5 times 2 is 10. Can't make 10 in 5 single digits. So, this 5 is going to have to marry up with a digit higher than the 2. So therefore it's going to have to at least be a 15. You can also put a 6 over here. Just saw that by Sudoku. And a 4. So this is just a 2, 4, 6. Because we've got the pairs of 2s, we've got pairs of 4s, and we've got pairs of 6s all looking into here. And we can't quite get this guy column done. But we can say there has to be a 7 and a 9 in here. Can we say anything further about this guy? I don't know that we can. Not really. Okay. So we must be able to do something more with this guy. The possibilities of this are 5, 8, 7, or 9. Well, this can't be a 2. Let's just get rid of that. Because it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6. So it's 5, 7, 8, or 9. If this guy got all the way over to here, the bare minimum of these would add up to it would be 25, because 5 times 5. Can we do that? I think we absolutely can, because you could have, I mean, these 3 alone could be 9, 8, 7. That's 24. It's very possible. Now, I guess we know that the bare minimum of these, let's look at bare minimums again, I guess, because that's going to give us something, at least. We've got a 1, 2 pair and a 1, 2 pair both looking down into here. So the bare minimum of both of these is technically 3, but because they have to be different to be a 3, 4. But I don't think that's of much use, is it? Because it definitely doesn't have to have a 3 on it. It could be, 4, 6, or 8, 9, anything in between them. This digit's bare minimum is a 1, actually. I don't like putting that in there for this case, because there seems to be so many different options that could be happening here. Now, the possibilities of this pink product band is that it could stop here, and these could equal to 15. It could stop here, and these could add up to a bunch of different things, starting at 25 and going higher. Or it could go all the way over to here, at which point we already said it can't be a 2 if it got to that point, but it could still probably be the 4 or the 6. Because that would give us plenty of options from 20 all the way up to 30 as to what these could add up to. Okay, then. So there must be somewhere else I can look that I'm just not seeing now. And what is that? So one down in here somewhere. And I don't see anything much more than that. We know the ones can't be in any of these, so one of these is a 1. How about the 2s? We already know there's a 2 in here. We know there's a 2 in here. So there is a 2 down here. There's a 2 up there. That's not doing much for us. 3s, anything there? We already knew one of these was a 3. None of those could be 3. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere either, does it? What about 4s? Nope. What can these be? Let's just look at that, maybe. 1, 7, 8, 9. No, that didn't do me anything. I thought it might help out, but it doesn't. Okay. Three. Gotta find the next step here. It feels like there is some way to determine what these are and where this thing ends. But I still feel like any 3 of these could be the ending point. Because if this is a 3, like I said, these all have to add up to 15. There's tons of ways to make 15. We don't have anything really excluded from these. Now, you clearly can't go here and get an end here at a 9, because it would have to be 9 times 5, which is 45. Can it end? It can't end on 8. I don't think it can end on a 7 either. No, it can't. So if it ended here, it would have to be the 5. If it continued on, it still could be the 4 or the 6, as we noted. Or 8 are the options here. So it can't be 1, 2, 4, or 6, 7, or 9. One of these has to be what gets me going again. Now we finished our, let's go back and look. We finished our 25, finished our 13. The Kropki is done. The Kropki is done. I mean, it's not fully done, but it's done. This guy is as far as it can go at this point. This is the only clue we have left over now. The only thing we know is that it ends over here somewhere. In fact, I guess it could still end up here, couldn't it? 6 digits. It's 21 is the bare minimum you can do in that. These are all in a row, so it would have to be the bare minimum. 6 times 5 is 30, so it leaves room there. So I just don't see how we can make a further determination here. Again, let me look at the rules, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, I'm indexing again. Goodness gracious. Okay, let's look at what the possibilities are. One of these has to be the endpoint. And it has to index to its row, column, or box. This indexes 3 would work. 9 would work here. Neither of these work. So it's one of these two is the endpoint of this guy. And we said this cannot be 9 to go with the 5 because these would all have to equal 45. So this is our endpoint. It has to be 3, indexed to 3. Okay, there it was. I again just lost the notion there. Okay, so now we know what these. Now we know that this is a 3, so we know this equals to 15. But there must be multiple ways to make 15 in 3 digits. What about basic Sudoku and anything now that we got that 3? I kind of doubt it. These have to equal 15. What were our possibilities here again? They can't be from 1 or 2. They can't be on a 3. So they could be a 4. Can't be 5. Could be 6, 7, 8, or 9. This can't be 8. So right now our bare minimum here is 10. Which doesn't actually work, so it can't be a 4-6 pair. Because if it was 4-6 pair, this would have to be a 5 to get to 15. So our true bare minimum is actually, well, no, it can't be 4-7, because if it's 4-7, that's 11, this would have to be a 4. Our true bare minimum is 4-8. That doesn't work either. Because if 4 and 8 would equal 12, this would have to be a 3. The 3 is over here. 4, 9 would be 13. And we have to get to 15. This would have to be a 2. That doesn't work. We can't have a 4. Okay, that's kind of weird. So now our actual bare minimum here is looking at, well, I say actual because I've just gone through them and said it was actual multiple times and it wasn't. 6-7 is 13, doesn't work. 6-8 is 14. This could very well be a 1. So is that what's going to determine this now? That this has to be something like a 6-8, so that allows this to be a 1. Because like you said, the bare minimum, if we were just look at it in terms of what the digits are, is 6-7, which is 13. But that does not work, because we cannot ever put a 12, or 2, a 12. We can't ever put a 2 with it, so these have to equal 14. And they can't go any higher. So this has to be a 1. Get rid of that 1, and this has to be a 1 now by Sudoku, and then we get some more information. Good. So these have to equal 14 is what we said. So these cannot have a 9 on them. Wait, I hit the wrong button. 9. I was like, what the heck is going on here? And they obviously can't have a 7 on them. So this is a 6-8 pair. And this has to be the 6, and this has to be the 8. Which means this is not 6. This is not 8. Okay, now is that, no, that doesn't quite do anything up here. I hoped it would, but it doesn't. That's fine. So we've got that one sorted now, finally. Let's use this because it's what has shown up, and we must be able to figure out something from it. Right now, we have to get up to 46, which is a fairly high digit, and at the moment, we have a given of 9. So we still have to get up to 37. The highest this one can be is 2. The highest this one can be is 9, so that's another 11. Gets us down to 26. These 3 digits, again, will have to be 1 away from a bare minimum in this case. Because we said we're down to 27. Well, 9, 9, and 9, or down to 26, sorry. 9, 9, and 9 is 27. So this can never be a 7. Or, yeah, it can't be a 7 because it wouldn't allow us the proper digitry to get up there. Let's look at it just to further determine that. 8, 9, if this was a 7, we'd be at 16. This could be a 2, which would get us up to 18. Now, we would still need 28 more. 9, 9, 9 doesn't get us up to 28. This is a 9. So this is a 7. Now, we also said these still had to be 1 away from the maximums. So we're at 8 plus 9 is 17, 18. The most this could be is 2, which is at 20, so we still need to get up to 26, which is 9, 9, and 8. So we do have to have 2 9s, and we have to have 1 8. This can't be an 8, so it's 9. So one of these is 8, the other one is 9. That 9 gives us a 7 and a 9 here. And we have got to be pretty close here to figuring out what's left over. So let's see if we have anything. Let's go back to our good old pal Sudoku. Ones are not going to do anything for us. 2s I don't think are going to do anything for us. 3s, well, yeah, we kind of have a little bit of something with 3s. None of these can be 3, so one of these must be. None of these can be 3, and this can't be a 3, so this is a 3. That will clear that out, good. What about the rest? One of these 2 is a 3. And oh, this one 3 here, this has to be the 3. So let's get rid of those. No 3s in any of these. This is a 3. And that finishes at 3s, right? Yes, it does, because this can't be a 3 by our marking, so this is 3. So our 3s are done. Good. We need to have a 7 in this row. I just saw it. We've got a 7 here, so this is 7, and this is 8. That's going to give us our 5 and our 8. Okay. I'm liking how this is starting to move now. It's getting a bit scary there for a second. What else do we have left over? So we said 1s and 2s weren't doing much of anything. So we couldn't finish anything on them just yet. 3s we finished. 4s, let's take a look at those. And there has to be a 4 in one of these 2, which means this is a 4. Get rid of that. This has to be a 4. It's clearing fog, so we know we're doing good. This has to be an 8 and a 4. That's good. That 8 gives us our 9 and our 8. This can't be a 9 anymore. This 9 sees this. This is a 2. This is not a 2. We cleared more fog, so I kind of like how this fog is out here still and kind of telling us that we're doing things correctly. Where did we say? We started at 4s. I think we were as far along as we could go. Yeah. Let's move on. 5s, one of these has to be a 5, therefore none of these are 5, so this is a 5. What else do we have on the 5s? Not quite enough. One of these 2 is a 5, but let's do 6s then next. Okay, this has to be a 6. One of these two must be a 6, and then that's going to look into here and say this is a 6. That's 6 and 5. This is going to be a given digit of something. It's a 5, so this is not 5, which I think we said that one of these two is 5, right? Yeah, so this is 5. There we go. This is a 7-9 pair. And we can just look over here. Actually, this has to be a 2-4 because it's on a black Kropki, so this can't be 6. So this is the 6. That makes this the 6. Get rid of that. Is that enough to finish our 6s? It is. Good. This is a given digit now of 9. This is a given digit of 7. This is a given of 8. This is a given. And why am I not being able to focus? That's a 7 as well. This is a 9. This gives us our 7 and our 9. Clear that corner. Good. These two digits have to... Well, I probably could have used this this killer to finish off what these needed to be, but I don't want to do the math at the moment, so I'm going to continue this way. These have to be from 7 and 8, so this has to be 7. This has to be 8. These, therefore, have to be from 2 and 4. This has to be the 4. This has to be the 2. It's going to give us our 4 and our 2. Okay, I almost clicked on the 3 there for a second. This has to be our 9. This has to be our 7. This has to be an 8. And we have what left? This one here is 9. So this has to be 4. This has to be 7. And we are going to have to use this last killer to finalize what this guy is. So what are we at? We've got 13, 17, 26, 34, 43, 44. So this has to be a 1 and a 2. And I hope I did that math right. I didn't check again. We're going to find out in a second. I probably turned off the auto check, didn't I? We don't have anything missing, right? Nope. Did I screw this up? Let me go back and do my math. We've got 8, 17, 26, 34, 43, 44. Did I? Okay. Wait. Why was I thinking it had to be 45? I think I was taking in Sudoku rules. This has to be 46, not 45. So when we got to 44, this would have to be a 2, not a 1. I was thinking completely on, you know, the 1 through 9 has to equal 45. Dummy. This is a 1 and a 2. There we go. It's your fault you killed the worm. I did not kill that worm. It's your fault. You made this puzzle. Anyway, that was a tough puzzle to get into, to have to go through the understandings of all these, but it was really a lot of fun. I obviously got caught up a couple little times trying to figure out just how to get started first off, and then how to differentiate between some of these things, and not always remembering to go back to indexing was kind of the sticking points that I had. But overall, that was a really fun puzzle. I loved it. Elytron, you killed the worm, not me. Got it? Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all you, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.